Opa.
Yes,
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevayam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevayam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevayam. Om Ajnanachmilandasyam Gananjana Shalakayam Chaksunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadam Tikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shiyuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Shri Rupam Sagajatam Sahagana Lagunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namustute Tapta Kantana Gurangira Divrindavaneshwari Risabano Sute Dev Pranamami Hari Priya Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyaivacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutare Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Guravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Dishatarine Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Jai, Haribol. Thank you so much, Prabhu.
You're welcome.
Okay, who wants to read the text number 2? Yesterday we read the first one, and we can read the translation again. A sober person who can tolerate the urge to speak, the mind's demands, the actions of anger, and urges of the tongue, belly, and genitals is qualified to make disciples all over the world. Okay, then the text number 2. Who wants to read?
Can I read first, Prabhu?
Where it is? Prabhu. I got lost. Oh, here.
So can I read, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu. Please read. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Atyahara prayasya prajalpo niyamagraha janasangascha roryam cha sadir bhaktir vinashyati ati ahalaha overrating or too much collecting prayasya over-endeavoring cha and prajalpa idle talk niyama rules and regulation agraha too much attachment to or agraha too much neglect of janasangaha association with worldly mind person cha and loryam ardent longing or greed cha and sabbihi by these six bhaktihi devotional service vinashyati is destroyed. Translation: one's devotional service is spoiled when he becomes too entangled in the following six activities: 1. Eating more than necessary or collecting more funds than required. 2. Over or endeavoring for mundane things that are very difficult to obtain. 3. Talking unnecessary about mundane subject matter. 4. Practicing the scriptural rules and regulation only for the sake of following them and not for the sake of spiritual advancement, or rejecting the rules and regulation of the scriptures and working independently or whimsically. 5. Associating with worldly mind persons who are not interested in Krishna consciousness. And 6. Being greedy for mundane achievement. Purport. Human life is meant for plain living and high thinking, since all conditioned living beings are under the control of the Lord's third energy. This material world is designed so that one is obliged to work. The Supreme Personality of Godhead has three primary energies or potencies. The first is called Antalanga Shakti, or the internal potency. The second is called Tatastha Shakti, or the marginal potency. The third is called Bahilanga Shakti, or the external potency. The living entity constitute the marginal potency, and they are situated between the internal and the external potency. Being subordinate as eternal servants of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Jivatmas, or atomic living entity, must remain under the control of either the eternal or external potency. When they are under the control of the internal potency, they display the natural constitutional activity, namely, constant engagement in the devotional service of the Lord. This is stated in Bhagavad Gita 9.13. Mahatmanastu mam phaltam daivim prakritim ashlitaham bhajantyanan ananya manaso yatva bhutatim avyayam. O son of Prita, those who are not deluded, the great souls are under the protection of the divine nature. They are fully engaged in devotional service because they know me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, original and inexhaustible. The word Mahatma refers to those who are broad-minded, not cripple-minded. Cripple-minded person always engage in satisfy their sense, sometimes expand their activities in order to do good for others through some ism like nationalism, humanitarianism, or altruism. They may reject personal sense gratification for the sense gratification of others, like the member of their family, community, or society, either national or international. Actually, all this is extended sense gratification, from personal to communal to social. This may all be very good from the material point of view, but such activities have no spiritual value. The basic basis of such activity is sense gratification, either personal or extended. Only when a person gratifies the senses of the Supreme Lord can he be called Mahatma, or broad-minded person. In the above quote verse from Bhagavad Gita, the words "daiving prakritim" refer to the control of the internal potency or pleasure potency of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This pleasure potency is manifested as Srimati Radharani, or her expansion Lakshmi, the goddess of fortune. When the individual jiva souls are under the control of the internal energy, their only engagement is the satisfaction of Krishna or Vishnu. This is the position of a Mahatma. If one is not a Mahatma, he is Dulatma, or Kripa-minded person. Such mentality crippled Dulatma Dulatmas are put under the control of the Lord's external potency Mahamaya. Indeed, all living entities within this material world are under the control of Mahamaya, whose business is to subject them to the influence of the threefold miseries, Adidaivik Klesha, suffering caused by the demigods such as drought, earthquake, and storms, Adibhoktika Klesha, suffering caused by the other living entity like insect or enemies, and Ajatmika Klesha, suffering caused by one's own body and mind such as mental and physical infirmities. Daiva Bhutatma Etavaha, the conditioned soul subject to these three misery by the control of external energy suffer various difficulty. The main problem confronting the conditioned soul is the repetition of birth and old age, disease and death. In the material world, one has to work for the maintenance of the body and soul, but how can one perform such work in a way that is favorable for the execution of Krishna consciousness? Everyone requires possessions such as food, grains, clothing, money, and other things necessary for the maintenance of the body, but one should not collect more than necessary for his actual basic needs. If this natural principle is followed, then there will be no difficulty in maintaining the body according to the nature's arrangement. Living entity lower on the evolutionary scale do not eat or collect more than necessary. Consequently, in the animal kingdom, there is generally no economic problem or scarcity of necessities. If a bag of rice is placed in a public place, birds will come to eat a few grains and go away. A human being, however, will take away the whole bag. It will eat all his stomach can hold and then try to keep the rest in storage. According to scriptures, this collecting of more than necessary chahara is prohibited. Now the entire world is suffering because of it. If someone else wants to read, please. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna, Bajahari Prabhu. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Shri Prabhupada.
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी दंडवत प्रणाम जय श्री प्रभुपाद प्लीज accept my humble obeisances all glories to Prabhupada.
Prabhu, if you're
Hare
free,
Krishna,
can you read?
Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu.
If you're free, can you read?
Uh, okay, Prabhu. I will read one page.
Okay,
Uh,
thank you so much.
Collecting and eating more than necessary also causes priyasha or unnecessary endeavor. By God's arrangement, anyone in any part of the world can live very peacefully if he has some land and milk cow. There is no need for the man to move from one place to another to earn a livelihood, for one can produce food grains locally and get milk from cows that can solve all the economic problems. Unfortunately, man has been given their higher intelligence for the cultivation of Krishna consciousness or the understanding of the God, one's relationship with Him, and the ultimate goal of the life, love of the God. Unfortunately, so called civilized man, not caring for the God civilization, and utilize his intelligence to get more than necessary and simply eat to satisfy the tongue. By God's arrangement, there is sufficient scope for the production of milk and grains for the humans being all over the world. But instead of using his higher intelligence to cultivate the God consciousness, so-called intelligent men misuse their intelligence to produce many unnecessary and unwanted things. Such factories, slaughterhouse, brothels, and liquor slide shops are opened. If people are advised not to collect too many goods, eat too much, or work unnecessary to purchase artificial amenities, they think they are being advised to return to primitive way of life. Generally, people do not like to accept plain living and high thinking. That is their unfortunate position. Human life is meant for the God realization, and the human being is given higher intelligence for this purpose. Those who believe that this higher intelligence is meant to attain a higher state should follow the instruction of the Vedic literature. By taking such instruction from the higher authorities, one can actually become situated in the perfect knowledge and give real meaning to the life. In Srimad Bhagavatam 129, Sri Sruta Goswami described the proper human dharma is in this way. Dharmasya hi apavargasya nartho रेथापकल्पते अनर्थस्य धर्म के धार्मिक अंतस्य कामो लाभ्य ही स्मृतः. All occupation engagement dharma are certainly meant for the ultimate liberation. They should never be performed for the material gain. Furthermore, who is engaged in the ultimate occupational service dharma should never use material gain to cultivate sense gratification. Thank you so much, bro. Bro, you can continue. Actually, I'm making the sun.
Ribo, thank you so much, Prabhu. Okay, who wants to
Thank
continue?
you so much, Prabhu.
Who's Lebong Prabhu?
General है general.
Okay, then next, Hiro Prabhu or Rahul Prabhu or Vivek Prabhu.
So I can read.
Yes, Prabhu.
Anyway. Okay, then 1 minute, Prabhu. Yes, I can read now. Okay. The first step in human civilization consists of occupational engagements performed according to the spiritual injunction. Spiritual injunction, where is it? The higher intelligence of human beings should be trained to understand basic dharma. In human society, there are various religious conceptions categorized as Hindu, Christian, Hebrew, Mohammedan, Buddhist, and so on. For without religion, human society is no better than an animal society. As stated above, धर्मस्य है अपरवर्गस्य नर्थोपकल्पते. Religion is meant for attaining emancipation, not for getting bread. Sometimes human society manufactures a system of so-called religion aimed at material advancement, but that is far from the purpose of true dharma. Religion entangles understanding the laws of God because the proper execution of these laws ultimately leads one out of material entanglement. That is the true purpose of religion. Unfortunately, people accept religion for material propensity prosperity because of atyahara or an excessive desire for such prosperity. True religion, however, instructs people to be satisfied with the bare necessities of life while cultivating Krishna consciousness. Even though we require economic development, true religion allows it only for supplying the bare necessity of material existence. Jivasya Tattva Jignasa. The real purpose of life is to inquire about the absolute truth. If our endeavor, prayasa, is not to inquire about the absolute truth, we will simply increasing our endeavor to satisfy our artificial needs. A spiritual aspirant should avoid mundane endeavor. Another impediment is prajalpa, unnecessary talking. When we mix with a few friends, we immediately begin unnecessarily talking, sounding just like croaking toads. If we if we must talk, we should talk about the Krishna consciousness moment. Those outside of the Krishna consciousness moment are interested in reading heaps of papers, magazines, and novels, solving crossword puzzles, and doing any other nonsensical things. In this in this fashion, people simply waste their valuable time and energy. In the Western countries, old men and trade from active life, play cards, fish, watch television, and debate about useless socio-political political schemes. All these and other spurious, frivolous activities are included in the Prajalpa category. An intelligent person interested in Krishna consciousness should never take part in such activities. Jnana Sangha Janasangha refers to associating with persons not interested in Krishna consciousness. One should strictly avoid such association. Sri Narottama Das Thakur has therefore advised us to live only in the association of Krishna consciousness devotees. Bhakta Sane Vasa Asa. Bhakta Sane Vasa. One should always engage in the service of the Lord in the association of the Lord's devotees. Association with those engaged in a similar line of business is very conducive to advancement in the business. Consequently, materialistic persons form various associations and clubs to enhance their endeavors. For example, in the business world, we find such institutions such, as the stock exchange and gambler of commerce. Commerce. Um, Similarly, we have established the International Society for Krishna Consciousness to give people an opportunity to associate with those who have not forgotten Krishna. This spiritual association offered by our Krishna ISKCON movement is increasing day by day. Many people from different parts of the world are joining this society to awaken their dormant Krishna consciousness. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur writes in his Anu, Anuvirti commentary that too much endeavor to acquire knowledge on the part of mental speculators or dry philosophers falls within the category of atyahara, collecting more than needed. According to Srimad Bhagavatam, the endeavor of philosophical speculators to write volumes of books on mm, dry philosophy devoid of Krishna consciousness is entirely futile. The work of karmis who write volumes of books on economic development also falls within the category of atyahara. Similarly, those who have no desire for Krishna consciousness and who are simply interested in possessing more and more material things, and either in the shape of scientific knowledge or uh, Monterey, monetary gain are all included under the control of Hatyahara. Karmis labor to accumulate more and more money for further generations. Oh, come on. Only because they do not know their future position. Interested only in getting more and more money for their sons and grandsons. Such foolish persons do not even know what their position is going to be in the next life. There are many incidents that illustrate this point. Once a great Kurmi accumulated a vast fortune for his sons and grandsons, but later, according to his karma, he took his birth in a cobbler's house located near the building which in his previous life he had constructed for his children. It so happened that when their very cobbler came to his farmer house, his farmer sons and grandsons beat him with shoes unless the Kermis and Ganis become interested in Krishna consciousness, they will simply continue to waste their life in fruitless activities, accepting some of the spiritual rules and regulations for immediate benefit or benefit as Rotarian advocate is called Niyama Agraha, and neglecting the rules and regulations of the Shastras, which are meant for spiritual development, is called Niyama Agraha. The word agraha means eagerness to accept, and agara means failure to accept. By the addition of neither of these two words to the word niyama, rules and regulations, the word niyamagraha is formed. Thus, niyamagraha has a twofold meaning that is understood according to the particular combination of words. Those interested in Krishna consciousness should not be eager to accept rules and regulations for economic advancement. Yet they should very faithfully accept spiritual rules and regulations for the advancement of Krishna consciousness. They should strictly follow the regulative principles by avoiding illicit sex, meat eating, gambling, and intoxication. One should also avoid association with Mayavadis who simply bashman Vaishnavas, devotees, uh, bhak- bu- bhukti kamis who are interested in material happiness, mukti kamis who desire liberation by emerging in the existence of the formless absolute Brahman, and siddhi kamis who desire the perfection of mystic yoga practice are classified as astyaharis. To associate with such person is not at all desirable. Desire to expand the mind by perfecting mystic yoga, merging in the existence of Brahman, or attaining whimsical material prosperity are all included within the category of greed. Hallelujah. All attempts to acquire such material benefits or so-called spiritual advancement are impediments on the path of Krishna consciousness. Modern warfare waged between capitalists and communists is due to their avoiding the advice of Srila Rupa Goswami regarding Atyahara. Modern capitalists accumulate more wealth than necessary, and the communists, envious of their propensity, want to nationalize all wealth and property. Unfortunately, the communists do not know how to solve the problem of wealth and its distribution. Consequently, when the wealth of the capitalist uh, falls into the hands of the communists, no solution results. Opposite to these two philosophies, the Krishna consciousness ideology states that all wealth belongs to Krishna. Thus, unless all wealth comes under the administration of Krishna, there can be no solution to the economic problem of mankind. Nothing can be solved by placing wealth in the hands of the communist or the capitalist. If $100 bill is lying on the street, someone may pick it up and put it in his pocket. Such a man is not honest. Another man may see the money and decide to let it remain there, thinking that he should not touch uh, another's property. Although this second man does not steal the money for his own purpose, he is unaware of its proper use. The third man who sees the $100 bill may pick it up, find the man who lost it, and deliver it to him. This man does not steal the money to spend for himself, nor does he neglect it and let it lie in the street. By taking it and delivering it to the man who has lost it, this man is both honest and wise. Simply transferring wealth from capitalist to communist cannot solve the problem of modern politics. For it has been demonstrated that when a communist gets money, he uses it for his own sense gratification. The wealth of the world actually belongs to Krishna, and every living entity can every living entity, man and animal, has the has has the bright birthright to use God's property for his maintenance. When one takes more than his maintenance, more than maintenance requires, be he a capitalist or a communist. He is a thief, and as such as he is liable to be punished by the laws of nature. The wealth of the world should be used for the welfare of all living entities. For that, he is the plan of that is the plan of Mother Nature. Everyone has the right to live by utilizing the wealth of the Lord. When people learn the art of scientifically utilizing the Lord's property, there will no longer encroach upon another's rights. Then ideal society can be formed. The basic principle for such a spiritual society is stated in the first mantra of Sri Upanishad. Vishwasyam idam sarvam yat kinchat jagate त्यं जगत् तेन त्यक्तेन भुञ्जीता मा ग्रधा कस्य स्विद्धामा. every Everything animate or inanimate that is within the that is within the
Hare Krishna,
one
Prabhu.
minute
Please accept my
that is
obeisance
that is
to
within
Srila
the
Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna,
that is with
Jai Shri
that is
Prabhupada.
within the
Hare
universe
Krishna
is
Prabhu,
called
Dharatnam Jai Prabhu.
is controlled and owned by the Lord. One should therefore accept sorry Prabhu, everything animate or inanimate that is within the universe is controlled and owned by the Lord. One should therefore accept only those things necessary for himself, which are set aside as his quota, and should not accept other things, knowing well to whom they belong. Haribol, who wants to continue? Please continue. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank you
Krishna,
so much,
Bharata
Prabhu.
Prabhu. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Shri Prabhupada.
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Prabhu,
Prabhu,
Dharatnam
please
Jai
accept
Srila
my humble
Prabhupada.
obeisance. Augusta
Prabhu, can
Srila
I read?
Prabhupada.
Dharatnam Prabhu, all Gosha
Please,
Prabhupada.
please,
Thank you so
Prabhu.
much. I mean, can I read Prabhu? Sami Prabhu, is it okay?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah,
Read
just tell me from where, Prabhu.
from here.
Okay. Which verse is this, by the way, Prabhu?
And 2.
Okay. This is Nectar of Instruction 2, right? Yeah,
Yes,
okay, okay.
you
Right.
go.
Krishna conscious devotees know very well that this material world is designed by the complete arrangement of the Lord to fulfill all the necessities of life for having all living beings, without their having to encroach upon the life or rights of one another. This complete arrangement affords the proper quota of wealth for everyone according to his real needs, and thus everyone may live peacefully according to the principle of plain living and high thinking. Unfortunately, materialists who have neither faith in the plan of God nor any aspiration for higher spiritual development misuse their God given intelligence only to augment their material possessions. They devise many systems such as capitalism and materialistic communism to advance their material position. They are not interested in the laws of God or in a higher goal. Always anxious to fulfill their unlimited desires for sense gratification, they are conspicuous by their ability to exploit their fellow living beings. When human society gives up these elementary faults enumerated by Srila Rupa Goswami, Atyahara, etc., all enmity will cease between men and animals, capitalists and communists, and so forth. In addition, all problems of economic and or political maladjustment and instability will be solved. This pure consciousness is awakened by the proper spiritual education and practice offered scientifically by the Krishna consciousness movement. This Krishna consciousness movement offers a spiritual community that can bring about a peaceful condition in the world. Every intelligent man should purify his consciousness and rid himself of the above mentioned six hindrances to devotional service by taking wholehearted shelter of this Krishna consciousness movement. I can start with the text 3 as well, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes.
Do we have enough time? Number three.
Yeah, we have enough time. We have 40
Okay,
minutes, 45 minutes.
okay, let's start.
Text 3. Utsahan nishtayat dhairyat tat karma pravartanat sangatyaga sato vrittehe sabdir bhaktihi prashidyati. Utsahat by enthusiasm, nishtayat by confidence, dhairyat by patience, tat karma various activities favorable for devotional service, pravartanat by performing, sangatyagat by giving up the association of non-devotees, ataha of the great previous acharyas, vrittehe by following in the footsteps, sadbihi by the six, bhaktihi devotional service, prashidyati advances or becomes successful. So is everyone else also going to recite or
There is one Lebohang Prabhu and Zero Prabhu also. Rahul Prabhu.
Vivek Prabhu?
Vivek Prabhu, he read already.
Or is it? Okay.
But
Okay, Prabhu.
we can
Translation.
read again also. But does anyone want to read? Usually Lebohang Prabhu is ready. But now he's quiet, so I think he's doing something.
Okay, I will
Prabhu,
read
I'm
them.
still a little bit busy.
Yes, Prabhu.
Right,
Prabhu.
right. No worries. I will continue then, Prabhu. Okay.
Okay,
There are
Haribol.
6 principles favorable to the execution of pure devotional service: being enthusiastic, endeavoring with confidence, being patient, acting according to the regulative principles such as Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Srimad Bhagavatam 7.5.23, hearing, chanting, and remembering Krishna. 5. Abandoning the association of non-devotees. And 6. Following in the footsteps of the previous acharyas. These 6 principles undoubtedly assure the complete success of pure devotional service. Devotional service is not a matter of sentimental speculation or imaginative. Devotional service is not a matter of sentimental speculation or imaginative ecstasy. Its substance is practical activity. Srila Rupa Goswami taught 1.11 has अन्याभिलाषितसङ्गं ज्ञानकर्माणि अनुकूल्येन कृष्णानुशीलनं भक्तिर uttama. CC Madhya 19.167. Thank you very much, Jani Prabhu, sorry, Gauri Shakti Prabhu,
Thank you so
for your
much,
kind
Gaurashakti
association. All
Prabhu,
best to
for your
Prabhupada. Hari Bol.
association. Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna.
All best to
Thank you
Prabhupada.
so
Thank you
much.
very
Prabhu,
much
where are
for
you doing it?
Panchakalpatalubhyata.
Panchakal.
Um,
Yes, Prabhu. Where are you doing it?
8 p.m.
Yes, Prabhu. But are you doing it in Zoom or like what?
Yes, in Zoom, but it's okay. I will use mine.
Ah, okay. Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, no problem.
Hopefully it
Thank you
works.
very much.
Thank you very
Panchakalpatalubhyata
much, Prabhu.
kripasindubhyavacha.
Vanchakalparubhishya
Patitanam
kripasindhuvascha
pavanebhyo
patitanam
vaishnavebhyo
pavanebhyo
namo namaha.
vaishnavebhyo namo namaha.
Thank you so much for
Thank you
joining.
so much, Prabhu. Hari Bol. Uttama Bhakti, or unalloyed devotion unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead Sri Krishna, involves the rendering of devotional service in a way that is favorable to the Lord. This devotional service should be free from any extraneous motive and devoid of fruitive karma, impersonal jnana, and all other selfish desires. Wow. Yes, Prabhu. Bhakti is sort of cultivation. As soon as we say cultivation, we must refer to activity. Cultivation of spirituality does not mean sitting down idly for meditation, as some pseudo yogis teach. Such idle meditation may be good for those who have no information of devotional service, and for this reason, it is sometimes recommended as a way to check distracting materialistic activities. Idle meditation may be good for those who have no information of devotional service, and for these reasons, sometimes recommended as a way to check distracting material activities. Hmm. Meditation means stopping all nonsensical activities, at least for the time being. Devotional service, however, not only puts an end to all nonsensical mundane activities, but also engages one in meaningful devotional activities. Sri Prahlad Maharaj recommends Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Padasevanam Archanam Vandanam Dasyam Sakyam Atma Naivedinam. Srimad Bhagavatam 7.5.23. The 9 processes of devotional service are as follows. 1. Hearing the name and glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. 2. Chanting His glories. 3. Remembering the Lord. 4. Serving the Lord's feet. 5. Worshipping the deity. 6. Offering obeisances unto the Lord. 7. Acting as the Lord's servant. 8. Making friends with the Lord. 9. Surrendering oneself fully to the Lord. Shravanam or hearing is the first step in acquiring transcendental knowledge. One should not give oral reception to unauthorized persons, but should approach the proper person as recommended in the Bhagavad Gita 4.34. Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadakshante te jnanam jnanina sattvadarshinaha. Just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master. Inquire from him submissively and render service unto him. The self-realized soul can impart knowledge unto you because he has seen the truth. It is further recommended in the Mundaka Upanishad, Tad Vijnanartham Sagurum Eva Bigachyet 1.2.12. To understand the transcendental science, one must approach a bona fide spiritual master. Thus, this method of submissively receiving transcendental confidential knowledge is not merely based on mental speculation. In this regard, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told Rupa Goswami, Brahmanda Brahmite Kona Bhagyavan Jiva, Guru Krishna Prasade Paye Bhakti Lata Bija. In the course of traversing the universal creation of Brahma, some fortunate soul may receive the seed of Bhakti Lata, the creeper of devotional service. This is all by the grace of Guru and Krishna. Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya 19.151. The material world is a place of confinement for the living entities who are by nature Anandamaya, pleasure seeking. They actually want to be free from the confinement of this world of conditional happiness. But not knowing the process of liberation, they're bound to transmigrate from one species of life to another and from one planet to another. In this way, the living entities are wandering throughout the material universe. When by good fortune one comes in contact with a pure devotee and hears from him patiently, one begins to follow the path of devotional service. Such an opportunity is offered to a person who is sincere. The International Society for Krishna Consciousness is giving such a chance to humanity at large. If by fortune one takes advantage of this opportunity to engage in devotional service, the path of liberation immediately opens. One should accept this opportunity to return home back to Godhead very enthusiastically. Without enthusiasm, one cannot be successful. Even in the material world, one has to be very enthusiastic in his particular field of activity in order to become successful. A student, businessman, artist, or anyone else who wants success in his line must be enthusiastic. Similarly, one has to be very enthusiastic in devotional service. Enthusiasm means action, but action for whom? That answer is that one should always act for Krishna. Krishnartaikela Shesta Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Just give me 10 seconds, Prabhu. I'll get back to reading. Just give me 10 seconds. Yeah, okay. Uh, Phases of life, one has to perform devotional activities. In all phases of life, one has to perform devotional activities under the direction of the spiritual master in order to attain perfection in Bhakti Yoga. It is not that one has to confine or narrow one's activities. Krishna is all pervading. Therefore, nothing is independent of Krishna, as Krishna himself states in the Bhagavad Gita 9.4. Maya tatam idam sarvam jagat avyakta murtina Matstani sarva na chaham teshu avastitaha. By me, in my unmanifested form, this entire universe is pervaded. All beings are in me, but I am not in them. Under the direction of the bona fide spiritual master, one has to make everything favorable for Krishna's service. For example, at present we are using a dictaphone. The materialists who invented this machine intended it for some businessmen or writers of mundane subject matters. He certainly never thought of using the dictaphone in God's service. But we are using this dictaphone to write Krishna conscious literature. Of course, the manufacture of the dictaphone is wholly within the energy of Krishna. All the parts of the instruments, including the electronic functions, are made from different combinations and interactions of five basic types of material energy, namely Bhumi, Jala, Agni, Vayu, and Akasha. Sorry, Akasha. Yeah, Akasha. Yeah. The inventor used his brain to make this complicated machine, and his brain, as well as the ingredients, were supplied by Krishna. According to the statement of Krishna, Mastani Sarva Bhutani, everything is dependent on my energy. Thus, the devotee can understand that since nothing is independent of Krishna's energy, everything should be dovetailed in his service. Endeavor executed with intelligence and Krishna consciousness is called utsaha or enthusiasm. The devotees find the correct means by which everything can be utilized in the service of the Lord. Nirbandha Krishna Sambandhe Yuktam Vairagya Muchyate. The execution of devotional service is not a matter of idle meditation, but practical action in the foreground of spiritual life. These activities must be executed with patience. One should not be impatient in Krishna consciousness. Indeed, this Krishna consciousness movement was started single handedly, and in the beginning there was no response. But because we continue to execute our devotional activities with patience, people gradually begin to understand the importance of this movement, and now they eagerly participate in. One should not be impatient in discharging devotional service, but should take instructions from the spiritual master and execute them with patience. Depending on the mercy of Guru and Krishna, the successful execution of the Krishna conscious activities requires both patience and confidence. A newly married girl naturally expects offspring from her husband, but she cannot expect to have them immediately after marriage. Of course, as soon as she is married, she can attempt to get a child, but she must surrender to her husband, confident that a child will develop and be born in due time. Similarly, in devotional service, surrender means that one has to become confident. The devotee thinks, Avashya Rakshibe Krishna. Krishna will surely protect me and give me help for the successful execution of devotional service. This is called confidence. As already explained, one should not be idle, but should be very enthusiastic about executing the regulative principles. Tattat karma pravartana. Neglect of the regulative principles will destroy devotional service. In this Krishna consciousness movement, there are four basic regulative principles forbidding illicit sex, meat eating, gambling, and intoxication. A devotee must be very enthusiastic about following these principles. If he becomes slack in following any of them, his progress will certainly be checked. Hmm. Srila Rupa Goswami therefore recommends tat karma pravartanat. One must strictly follow the regulative principles of Vaidhi Bhakti. In addition to these four prohibitions, yama, there are positive regulative principles, niyama, such as the daily chanting of 16 rounds on the Japamala beads. These regulative activities must be faithfully performed with enthusiasm. This is called tat karma pravartana or varied engagement in devotional service. Furthermore, to be successful in devotional service, one must give up the association of undesirable people. This includes karmis, jnanis, yogis, and other non-devotees. Karmis, jnanis, yogis, other non-devotees. I just want to share one thing also that I believe I shared it to Sami Prabhu as well. It was a quote by Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur, which states that actually worse than the association of these non-devotees, right? Is actually the association of cheaters in the guise of devotees. You remember this, Sami Prabhu? I shared with you
What,
long back in
can you
Instagram.
association of who? Of who? I didn't hear the.
Worse than association of non-devotees is association of cheaters in the guise of devotees.
Yes, Prabhu. Yeah, I could
You
accept
remember,
that, but I
right?
don't remember where such. I don't remember, Prabhu, where it is. But yes, Prabhu, I've heard
Yeah,
that.
no. Remember, I shared it with you in Instagram lot. Remember?
Yes, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu,
Yeah,
it's
that's
there.
by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. That what's the non-devotees to associate with those who are cheaters in the guise of devotees is worse. Okay,
Yes.
anyway. Furthermore, in order to be okay, yeah, okay. One of his householders devotees about the general principle. Can you go up, Prabhu? Uh, yeah, once, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was asked by one of his householder devotees about the general principles of Vaishnavism, as well as the general routine activities of the Vaishnava. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu immediately replied, Asatsangatyag e Vaishnavachara. Characteristically, a Vaishnava is one who gives up the association of worldly people or non-devotees. Srila Narottam Das Thakur has therefore recommended Tandera Charana Sevi Bhakta Sanevasa. One has to live in the company of pure devotees and execute the regulative principles laid down by the previous acharyas. The six Goswamis, namely Sri Rupa Goswami, Sri Sanatana Goswami, Sri Jiva Goswami, Sri Raghunatha Dasa Goswami, Sri Gopala Bhatta Goswami, and Sri Raghunatha Bhatta Goswami. If one lives in the association of devotees, there is little chance of associating with non-devotees. The International Society for Krishna Consciousness is opening many centers just to invite people to live in the company of devotees and practice the regulative principles of spiritual life. Devotional service means transcendental activities. On the transcendental platform, there is no contamination by the three modes of material nature. This is called Vishuddha Sattva, a platform of pure goodness, or goodness free from contamination by the qualities of passion and ignorance. In this Krishna consciousness movement, we require everyone to rise early in the morning by 4 a.m. Wow. And attend Mangala Arati or morning worship, then read Srimad Bhagavatam, perform Kirtana, and so forth. Thus, we hold continuous activities in devotional service 24 hours daily. This is called Satovritti, or following the footsteps of the previous acharyas who expertly filled every moment of time with Krishna conscious activities. Prabhupada mentions 4 a.m. Wow.
Yes, Prabhu. Here it is, because some month ago, Ero Prabhu suddenly messaged me. He started to challenge me, and he said, "Why do you wake up so early when the sun rises only 10 a.m.?" He said,
I remember, Prabhu.
"Yes, Prabhu." He said you should follow the proper system. It was like this.
What happened to him by now? Is he?
Then
What
after
happened
that,
to him?
he disappeared.
Oh,
Yes, Prabhu. He hasn't
anyway.
messaged after that.
Hmm. Okay. So if one strictly follows the advice given in this verse by Srila Rupa Goswami, namely being enthusiastic, being confident, being patient, giving up the association of unwanted persons, following the regulative principles and remaining in the association of devotees, one is sure to advance in devotional service. Anyone else want to read, Prabhu?
Yeah, no one
Zero, Prabhu.
can read. Oh,
Yes,
zero
Prabhu.
Prabhu can read.
Is it from here?
Yes, Prabhu. In this
Prabhu, Prabhu.
okay, so I should read 1 minute. So, Prabhu, we should wake up by 4 a.m., right? Not 2:30 or 3:30. Even we wake up 3:30, we sleep back, right? 4, is it? No, no, not like that. Sundar Prabhu wakes up at 1:30, right? So we have to wake up at least by 4. At least. If you can wake up early, yeah, good, well and good. But at least by 4 is a standard, Prabhupada said. Of course, this is a standard. If one can wake up by 4 at home, well and good. Otherwise, at least by 5, before 5. Yeah. But it's always better to wake up earlier. So then you can, if you're at home, I was just thinking this that if one can wake up by 3:30 or like at 4 or itself he wakes up, then he can finish his rounds and finish the lectures and then he can do his morning, whatever work, whatever. Most of his things he can finish in the morning itself. So yeah. Anyway, if nobody else can read, I can read also, no problem. Okay. In this regard, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur recommends that the cultivation of knowledge by philosophical speculation, the collection of mundane opulence by the advancement of fruitive activities, and the desire for yoga siddhis, material perfections, are all contrary to the principle of devotional service. One has to become thoroughly callous to such non-permanent activities and turn his intention instead to the regulative principles of devotional service, according to the Bhagavad Gita 2.69. Yanisha sarvabhutanam tasyam jagarti samyami yashyam jagrati bhutani sa nisha pashyato munehe. Munehe. Okay. What is night for all beings is the time of awakening for the self-control. The time of awakening for all beings is a night for the introspective sage. Hmm. What is night for all beings is the time of awakening for the self-control. Okay. And the time of awakening for all beings is a night for introspective stage. Okay. Engagement in the devotional service of the Lord is the life and soul of the living entity. Prabhu is saying, Prabhu, sometimes I wake up early because of this 10 p.m. no phone technical. And I was feeling I'm leaving 2 days instead of one like before. Haribo. All glories to you, Prabhu. Engagement in the devotional service of the Lord is the life and soul of the living entity. It is the desired goal and supreme perfection of human life. One has to become confident about this. And one also has to be confident that all activities other than devotional service, such as mental speculation, fruitive work, or mystic endeavor, will never yield any enduring benefit. Complete confidence in the path of devotional service will enable one to attain his desired goal. But attempting to follow other paths will only succeed in making one restless. Yeah. In the seventh canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, it is stated, one must be calmly convinced that those who have given up devotional service to engage in severe austerities for other purposes are not purified in their minds, despite their advanced austerities, because they have no information of the transcendental loving service of the Lord. Mm, yeah. It is further It is further stated in the seventh canto, all the mental speculators and fruitive actors may perform great austerities and penances, yet still fall down because they do not have information about the lotus feet of the Lord. The devotees of the Lord, however, never fall down. In Bhagavad Gita 9.31, the Supreme Personality of Godhead assures Arjuna, Kaunteya pratijanihi name bhaktha pranishati. O son of Kunti, declare it boldly that my devotee never perishes. Again, in the Bhagavad Gita 2.40, Krishna says, Neha Bhikrama Nashosti प्रत्यावायो न विद्यते स्वल्पमप्यस्य धर्मस्य त्रायते महतो भयात्. In his endeavor, there is no loss of diminution, and a little advancement on this path can protect one from the most dangerous type of fear. Devotional service is so pure and perfect that once having begun, one is forcibly dragged to ultimate success. Wow. Devotional service is so pure and perfect that once having begun, one is forcibly dragged to ultimate success. Sometimes a person will give up his ordinary material engagements and out of sentiment take shelter of the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord and thus begin the preliminary execution of devotional service. Even if such an immature devotee falls down, there is no loss on his part. On the other hand, what is the gain of one who executes the prescribed duties according to his varna and ashrama, but does not take devotional service? Although a fallen devotee may take his next birth in a low family, his devotional service will nonetheless resume from where it left off. Although fallen devotee may take his next birth in a low family, his devotional service will nonetheless resume from where it left off. Devotional service is ahaitukya pratihata. It is not the effect of any mundane cause, nor can it be terminated by any mundane cause or permanently curtailed by any material interruption. Therefore, a devotee should be confident about his engagement and should not be very interested in the activity of Karmi Dhani Yogi. I was also surprised how a devotee can take birth in low family.
Yes,
Although
Prabhu.
fallen devotee
Wow.
may take his next birth in a low family.
But yeah, it's
His
may.
devotion,
Yeah, it's possible.
yeah, can. But point is that even though it takes, he may take, but still his devotional service is, devotional credit is still there. It continues life after life.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah. I'm from there. I'm reading from there. There are certainly many good qualities. Yeah. There are certainly many good qualities among fruitive, fruitive, fruitive. It's fruitive, right? Yeah. Fruitive. There are certainly many good qualities among fruitive actors, philosophical speculators, and mystic yogis. Prabhu, down, down, down. But all good qualities automatically develop in the character of a devotee. Hmm. No extraneous endeavor is needed, as confirmed by Srimad Bhagavatam 5:18-12. All the good qualities of the demigods manifest progressively in one who has developed pure devotional service. Because a devotee is not interested in many material activity, he does not become materially contaminated. He is immediately situated on the platform of transcendental life. However, one who engages in mundane activity to be a so-called Jnani, Yogi, Karmi, philanthropist, nationalist, or whatever, cannot attain the highest stage of Mahatma. He remains a Duratma, cripple-minded person, according to Bhagavad Gita 9:13. Mahatmanastu mam karta devim prakritim ashritaha bhajanti ananya manaso hyatva abhutadim avyayam. O son of Pritha, those who are not deluded, the great souls, are under the protection of the divine nature. They are fully engaged in devotional service because they know me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, original and inexhaustible. Since all the devotees are under the protection of His supreme potency, they should not deviate from the path of devotional service and take to the path of karmi, jnani, or yogi. This is called utsaha, nishchaya, dhairya, tat tat karma pravartanat, enthusiastically executing the regulative activities of devotional service with patience and confidence. In this way, one can advance in devotional service without hindrance. I like Pranjal Prabhu's profile picture,
Very
See,
bold.
he's chastising the mind.
Oh, yes, Prabhu.
चेतोदर्पणमार्जनं भगमादावाग्निर्वापनं श्रेयकैरवचन्द्रिकावितरणं विद्यावादजीवनम् आनन्दं बुद्धिवर्धनं प्रतिपदां पूर्णामृतास्वादनं सर्वात्मा स्नपनं परं विजयते श्रीकृष्णसङ्कीर्तनम् तृणादपि सुनिचेन तरोरपि सहिष्णुना अमानिना मानदेन कीर्तनीयः सदा हरिः नादनं न जनं न सुन्दरीं कवितां वा जगदीश कामये मम जन्मनि जन्मनीश्वरे भवतद्भक्तिरहैतुकी त्वयि
युगायितं निमेषेण चक्षुषा प्रविर्षयितं शून्यायितं जगत्सर्वं गोविन्दविरहेण मे.
आश्लिष्य वा पादरतं पिनष्टु माम् अदर्शनान् मर्महतां करोति वा यथा तथा वा विधाति लम्पतो मत्प्राणनतस्तु स एव नापरः हरिः शिक्षाष्टकमी की translation. Glory to the Sri Krishna Sankirtana, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and extinguishes the fire of conditional life, of repeated birth and death. This Sankirtana movement is a prime benediction for humanity at large, because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss, and it enables us to fully taste the nectar for which we are always anxious.
Oh my Lord, your holy name alone can render all benedictions to beings and those who have understand millions of names like Krishna, Govinda. In these transcendental names, you have invested all your transcendental energy. There are not ardent pursuits for chanting this name. Oh my Lord, out of kindness, you enable us to easily approach you by your so unfortunate that I am not.
One should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than the straw in the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and should be ready to offer all respects to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. O Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor do I desire beautiful women, nor do I want any number of followers. I only want your costless devotional service, birth after birth. O son of Maharaj Nanda, Krishna, I am your eternal servitor, yet somehow or other I have fallen into the ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from the ocean of death and place me as one of the atoms at your lotus. O my Lord, when will my eyes be
Oh my
decorated with tears? Yes, bro, please go ahead, sir.
Oh my Lord, when will my eyes see the corrupted with tears of love flowing constantly when I chant your holy name? When will my voice choke up and when will the head of my body stand on end of a recitation on your name, of your name? Oh Govinda, feeling a separation and considering a moment to be like 30 or more, tears are flowing from my eyes like torrents of rain, and I am feeling all vacant in the world of in your absence. I know no one but Krishna as my Lord, and he should remain so even if he changes me roughly by his embraces, and or make me working harder by not being present before me. He completely free to do anything and everything, for he is always my wishful Lord unconditionally.
Ribo, 66 की जाए.
The reward is you have dedicated your life to provide, dedicated your life for providing the holy name of the Lord.
To consider the names of demigods like Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma to be equal to or independent of the name of the Lord Vishnu.
To disobey the orders of the spiritual master. in the way
To consider the glories of chanting Hare Krishna to be an imagination.
To give some interpretation to the holy name of the Lord.
To commit sinful activities on the strength of the holy name.
To consider chanting of Hare Krishna as one of the auspicious ritualistic activities bestowed on God and other ritual activities.
To instruct the faithless person about the glories of the holy name.
Do not have complete faith in the chanting of the holy name and maintain but as after understanding so many instructions on this matter, it is also against the Guru narrative of chanting. Every devotee who claims to be Vaishnava must guard against this offense in order to quickly achieve the detached Krishna fame.
वाञ्छाकल्पतरुश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः।
Namaha.
Thank you so
So the
much,
Vaishnava
devotees.
जय
Jai Gaura Premanandi.
जय जय गौर प्रेमानंद हरि हरि बोल।